Hi, my name is Brian. I'm here to talk about the plot of The Steal by Jeffrey Archer. First, I'll discuss about the exposition. The story introduces us to Christopher Roberts. He was a classics master at St. Cuthbert's at a small preparatory school north of Yeovil. We are later introduced to Margaret Roberts, the wife of Christopher Roberts. She was a school matron at the same school as her husband. The couple saved their money each year to go on an annual holiday. They pass their discoveries to their pupils who they regard as their offspring, as they do not have children of their own. Christopher decides that Turkey would be their destination that year, and Margaret agrees. Next would be the rising action. On the way to Turkey, Christopher and Margaret decide on what would be their steal. They use the term steal for getting something valuable at a lower price. The couple have obtained many steals in their past travels. They decide to get a carpet in Turkey because it has the most sought after carpets in the world for over 1,000 years. After checking their baggage, Christopher spots Mr. and Mrs. Kendall Hume. They are the parents of Malcolm Kendall Hume, presumably one of their students at their school. Margaret reads a book titled Carpets, Fact and Fiction by Abdul Verizoglu. She explains to her husband that on what affects a carpet's worth, such as type of knots, colors, and patterns. After arriving and checking in, the couple decide to pick up their rented car, and on the way there, they encounter Ray Kendall Hume and Melody Kendall Hume. Next, I'll be talking about the climax. On the last day of their trip, Christopher and Margaret have decided to get their carpet from the bazaar. While they were there, they encounter Ray, and he leads them back into town, exclaiming that he can find them a better deal. He brings them to Osman's as he tells them that they have great carpets. While the Kendall Humes ask for different selections of carpets to find one big enough for their home, one of their carpets that the workers brought out caught the attention of Margaret. Ray finds a carpet big enough and bargains it for a price of £20,000. Ray asks for a receipt of £10,000 to avoid paying the difference in customs duty. Margaret is approached by the dealer later, and she picks out the carpet that caught her attention. Christopher then bargains the carpet for £500. On the way home, Christopher gets approached by Ray to take his carpet through customs to prevent being held by authorities. Ray hands Christopher £2,000 to pay for his carpet. At the customs, Christopher hands over both his and Ray's receipts to the officials. And then the carpets were then taken to be inspected by an expert later. After a few minutes, the expert requested to meet both Christopher to inquire about the receipts and the carpet. Next will be the falling action. The expert informs Christopher and Margaret that the carpet they bought are worth much more than they paid for. The carpet that Ray has bought is not worth as much as they paid for, due to a lower knots per square inch even though it's larger in size. But the carpets that Christopher bought is a higher quality and therefore worth more than what he paid for. Christopher then pays the customs and returns Ray his carpet. Next will be the resolution. Christopher decides not to tell Ray the value of his carpet because he thinks it's the last thing Ray needs. Margaret questions Robert's actions whether it would be considered stealing. Christopher then clarifies that they haven't stolen anything, but they got a steal. Thank you.